Bristol was a great weekend, a lot of great racing, but right, there was some problems. So let's dive into that. Right out of the gate, watching the truck race, the big complaint I think about the truck race was that the PJ1 or application to the PJ1 had all the trucks running right on the bottom. They never moved off of the bottom of the racetrack. They never slowed down, so the trucks ran their fastest laps on old tires late in the race as the track got more and more fast with the temp falling. We saw the same thing happen in the Xfinity race where Noah wins the race on 90-some lap tires. We saw the same thing in the Cup race where Brad Keselowski was leading the race on 100-lap tires, driving away. Nobody could catch him. So there's a couple issues there. The tire is too fast. So the tire's too good, the tire's too durable. Goodyear needs to make the tire where it wears out, where it slows down. That's it. That's pretty much as simple as it gets. What they have done is, I think with the PJ1 and the abrasiveness of the concrete surface, there's some concern maybe for them to make sure that the tire is durable. We know that, they can't take a gamble, right? They can't take a risk on that and show up with a tire that fails or a tire that wears out before they get to the end of the fuel run. Basically, if that happens, they're gonna get crucified like they were at Indy when we had all that issues with the tires at Indy years ago. That really set a precedent, or that changed things for Goodyear when that Indianapolis race happened. There was no grace given. That would probably be even uglier in this day and time. The criticism and the public shaming of Goodyear would be bad. So they can't take a chance on that, right? We ask them all the time, man, we need the tires to wear out more. We need them to slow down. When we say tire fall off, what we mean is the lap time getting slower and slower throughout a run. We would love to have as much fall off as possible. You would go to some tracks and see seconds of fall off, like at Old Atlanta or at Darlington. And then you'll go to some tracks and not have any because either the surface or the tire is just way too durable. I think, number one, they need to change the tire to make the tire wear out, at least make the left sides wear out something. So the cars slow down, the cars start to handle poorly. They're not all running the same speed from the very beginning of the run to the end, because that really, really, really hurts passing. If your car can run the same lap time on lap 1 as it can lap 80, it kills the product. And if we didn't have, unfortunately, like these tire issues that we had in the Cup race, they're air pressure related, camber and caster setting related. That's not a Goodyear problem.
It's not a Goodyear problem. That's a crew chief problem.
Yep. Those things and the rack issues, that saved the race. Had we not had those problems, as ugly as they were, as they too are a point of criticism, if those hadn't happened, that would have been a difficult race to sell. And so, if you do fix the racks and we don't have rack and pinion issues, and the teams come back and understand a little bit better on what settings won't blow the right front tire, then we got a problem. Then we got a race where everybody's running the same speed, no one can get around each other because they're all the same.
Is that the short track problem this car's having? Do you think that's contributing largely to it?
At Bristol, at Martinsville, the cars are way too fast. There's way too much grip. So the cars can go way too fast through the corner. And a lot of that has to do with the tire and the size of the tire. So we made the tires bigger. We put a bigger contact patch on the ground. On all 4 corners, you've added more rubber to the road. And anytime you put more surface on, tire surface on the racetrack, you're going to have more grip, ability to really go faster in any situation, any scenario. And so, in my mind, this is this is something that can't really be changed. But in my mind, going to a wider, bigger tire was a massive mistake. But you can't go back, right?
Can't go back now, yeah. I guess not.
It's all, we've got everybody's paid for the wheels. Goodyear's paid for the engineering and development. There's the brakes and all that stuff that would have to change. It's not going back. But to go to this short sidewall, typically a road course, IMSA style setup for an oval race car was a bad choice in my mind. I would have never, when we went to Goodyear to see the tires being made before they ever were on the racetrack, I thought, why would you want to do this? Why would you want to make more? Why would you want to put more tire? We're trying to figure out how to get the guys off throttle, lifting, sliding around, struggling, fighting with these cars, and we're going to give them more tire and better, give them more grip. It just seemed to be a contrast to what really was trying to be achieved in terms of a racing product on the racetrack. So, yes, while the racing has been way better, much more entertaining at the mile and a half, the drivers swear that they can't pass. But we go to watch races at Kansas, they're passing. I joke about Logano saying, he'll tell me, man, we can't pass in this car. I'm like, well, your car can't pass. I see other guys' cars that are passing, but your car's not being good enough to pass this year. Well, that's really,
I got you.
It's the truth. His cars haven't been what we typically have seen from him in terms of performance.
Right.
But I see other guys passing, driving up through the field and so forth. But the racing is really, that's kind of the challenge, man. The racing has really been pretty good at the mile and a halves.
Yeah, it's been great.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Not good at the speedways, super speedways. Although NASCAR or the tracks might argue that what they see at Atlanta and so forth is great. The short track stuff though is terrifying. How we're going to go back to Martinsville and it's going to be the same race we saw there earlier this year. I don't know anything that would tell me different.
Possibly the playoff situations and the urgency to finish well, maybe. There's a bigger urgency, but at least I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah.
At least I'm hoping that contributes to a better race.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. It may not be.
Well, nothing tells me that we changed anything that would make the race look different, and that worries me. Selfishly, we were making this big push for more short tracks, but you can't make that argument when the product on those racetracks is not good.
Right.
There's a disconnect between what a driver feels like is a fun race and what a fan feels like is a great race to watch. We would go to Atlanta, old Atlanta, and I loved it. We were going to run the bottom, the middle, the top. You're moving all over the place, sliding around, out of control. It really challenged you as a driver. But, man, watching a race was a completely different experience. Fans did not like it. Fans did not come. And now we've reconfigured the track for the pretty much save its existence, right? When they remodeled Bristol with the variable banking, I remember a very vivid point in the very first or second race there. Me and Casey Kane and Carl Edwards, were all running first, second, third. And you could, to borrow a cliche, you could have thrown a blanket over the top of us. Literally, we were all three using different lines and nearly three wide for the lead. And I thought they have taken Bristol and it is 10 times better. I didn't even know if that was possible because it was pretty badass.
Yeah.
And but the more we understood about that track, the more we figured out how to run the top, and that became more and more dominant as guys found how to make their cars really fast up there. And fans disagreed with what they were seeing. Right? A driver might enjoy it, but a fan watching didn't like what they were watching. Right? And one of the best, most sought after tickets in our sport became less than became just another race.
Which was the ultimate wake-up call for our sport, because if Bristol all of a sudden wasn't selling out, and I remember that pivotal moment when all of a sudden there were empty seats, that was like, oh, we got a major problem. And I think probably started all of these major changes, not just at Bristol, but at other racetracks, and then also the car.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was a big wake-up call.
Yeah. They had a great crowd this weekend.
They did have a great crowd.
I think that crowd enjoyed what they saw.
I think
they did. That they'll come back. Even though those boxes were checked in terms of, yes, it was fun. Yes, I would like to see this again. Yes, I'm coming back. I still think that there's a couple things that can be pushed and encouraged to be better, so that we continue to excel, right, at that venue.
Feels like you're saying that there were some things that sort of masked the bigger problem, and that while that's a good thing that we had an entertaining race, the undercurrent is a problem that's brewing that's not been addressed, and that could have longer-term effects.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm here to tell you 3 reasons why I love our sponsor, Tire Pros. Number 1, Tire Pros loves cars as much as I do. Number 2, they have great service. Number 3, they're committed to getting you back out on the road. Plus, they've got this really cool logo.
Dale, that's 4 reasons.
And they have over 600 locations, 24/7 roadside assistance, a great selection, and a best-in-class tire warranty. Tire Pros, love the drive.